some of them last forever.
Deep left center for Mitchell, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
And now an entire season is one game short of becoming a masterpiece. Welcome back to Minneapolis, Minnesota on a foggy night here in the Twin Cities. This is where a local native by the name of Prince once said, "Party till it's 1999." And you know what? They just might do that. The Atlanta Braves, of course, have other plans as they come back into a packed and a boisterous Metrodome. And if it's decibels you like to count, you're going to see them here. This is the right place. If it's Homer Hankies you want to wave, you're going to see a few of those, too. And there's going to be even a smattering of brave tomahawk choppers. But most importantly, if it's baseball drama you dream about, well, we couldn't have written this script any better for you. And so it's live from the Metrodome. It's Game 7 of the World Series. The Atlanta Braves and the Minnesota Twins here on CBS Sports. And hi again, everybody. Good evening. I'm Pat O'Brien. We've got Tommy Lasorda with us again. You've got a lot of Prince CDs, don't you?
Got a stack of them.
We've got going to have a wild scene inside the Dome, but most of all, after a whole season of baseball, we've got a Game 7 of the World Series, and tonight's winner will walk off with this trophy. Tommy, what does this World Series mean in terms of baseball history?
Well, Pat, it's got to be one of the most historical World Series simply because two teams finishing last, and the following year they're in the World Series. That has never been done in my lifetime nor yours, and it may not be done ever again. Do you realize there are 3 different games that have been decided on the last pitch? It's been a very, very exciting World Series.
Do you manage any differently in a Game 7?
Without question. You got to shoot the works tonight. This is it, the final game. You have to do everything within your power to win this ball game. If you have to use starters in relief, every man has to be available for tonight's game.
We are going to turn our attention to tonight's starting pitchers. Minnesota, their hopes hinge on Jack Morris, and this was the scene as he left the Metrodome early this morning after the Twins forced a Game 7, looking very much like a rock star. Morris, of course, won 2 games for Detroit in the 1984 World Series, and this year he started not only the season opener, but also the All-Star Game, ALCS Game 1, World Series Game 1. So I asked him if he could put into words for us just how big tonight's Game 7 is.
The big boy. That's what we all dream about as kids, I guess. And, you know, just like the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl, there's only one game in football, but the 7th game of the World Series is our Super Bowl.
Is there something you get nervous about, or do you get anxious to get started, or what's the emotion here?
Well, I think just like everybody else here, we're ready to play the game. We've been through it enough. I've been through it enough. I've been through many World Series games. I'm just anxious to play.
This could turn the clock back on you. You can become a little kid again on today, huh?
Well, let's hope I pitch a little better than a little kid.
Good luck, Jack.
We want to welcome, by the way, those of you who are just joining us for our live coverage of Game 7 of the World Series. We're here talking a little pitching. We've been talking about Jack Morris, and if Jack Morris pitches the openers. John Smoltz specializes in pitching the closers. He beat the Dodgers to put Atlanta into the NLCS, and then he shut out the Pirates in Pittsburgh to put the Braves into this World Series. And Tommy, what about this pitching matchup tonight?
Well, Jack Morris is a veteran, as you said. This guy is a winner. He loves to pitch big ball games. You have to make him get the split finger over. As you will notice, when he gets ahead of batters, he throws that split finger. They swing at a lot of bad pitches in the dirt. If they make him bring the ball up, they got a chance. They got to make him throw his fastball if they want to beat him. This guy's tough.
John Smoltz is being asked, Tommy, to pitch again on 3 days rest. He has had mixed results, and you think it'll hurt him tonight?
No, I don't think it'll hurt him with 3 days rest. This guy has to get all the energy that he has within him. This is the biggest game of his life. He has been the hottest pitcher in the entire major leagues in the second half. He has good stuff. If you get him out in front with 3 or 4 runs early, he is tough to beat. You've got to get to him early.
Tommy, some lineup changes tonight. With the righty Smoltz on the mound, Mike Pagliarulo will start at third base for the Twins. We come back here from Minnesota. We'll hear from Minnesota's man of the year. I'll get this right, Tommy. Kirby Puckett, as our coverage of Game 7 of the 1991 World Series rolls on from the Twin Cities here on CBS. Stay with us.
CBS Sports coverage of Game 7 of the 1991 World Series is brought to you by Hyundai. Yes, Hyundai, makers of the Excel, Scoop, Sonata, and the brand new Elantra. And by Charles Schwab, helping investors help themselves.
It's not just a new car, it's a new way of doing business. The new Elantra, a sedan so well built and worry-free, we can introduce it with 2 years service and maintenance free. About all you pay for is gas. Now, why would you want to take your business anywhere else? The new Elantra from Hyundai. Yes, Hyundai.
Personnel, please.
7th floor. Now, when life turns up the heat, there's Degree antiperspirant. Because it's body heat activated, Degree turns on extra protection when you really need it. Degree, your body heat turns it on.
Sparky's Big Game Wisdom.
You need delivery in the clutch. So call Domino's Pizza. They've been coming through with clutch deliveries for over 30 years.
Call now and get a Domino's Pizza delivered for the game.
Nobody knows like Domino's.
Everyone has a dream, a vision deep inside.
When I decide to follow up on an investing idea, I need a broker who's ready when I am.
We make it easier to follow your own lead.
I can call Schwab at any hour, nights or weekends, get the information I need, even place an order to trade.
Always there to give you just the help you need.
Help yourself at Schwab today.
Someone's taken some steps to juice up their batteries. And today's Duracell batteries can even outlast the ones we made just a few years back. In fact, today's Duracell batteries aren't just built better, they're built to beat the band. You can't top the Copper Top.
I'm Paula Zahn.
And I'm Harry Smith. Tired of being a couch potato?
You may also be a slouch on nutrition. Find out tomorrow on CBS This Morning.
It's breakfast for your head.
Just another game on the schedule, huh, guys? Mark Lemke and Lonnie Smith there sitting around thinking about Game 7 of the World Series. And maybe you saw the signs down in Atlanta that said Lemke for president. We know that won't happen because he can't afford the pay cut. And if they wanted to draft Lemke in Atlanta, here in Minneapolis, after last night's game-winning home run, they're crowning Kirby Puckett. This morning, we were the first entry on His Majesty's calendar.
We're bringing all our friends from Indian Hills. Good luck, you know.
All right.
All right.
Look at the neighbor's brush. Oh, what do you do here, Pat? Kirby, rock on. Congrats. Nice catch. Nice home run. We love you, Kirby. They put all these pumpkins down here for you?
All these pumpkins. I don't have to go buy one now.
What about tonight? Can you do it again tonight, or what do you think?
We hope so, Pat. We've been playing well here at home, and I think after the win last night, the momentum got to be swinging our way a little bit. Plus, we got Mr. Morris tonight, but then again, they got Mr. Smoke. So I wish I knew the outcome. If I knew we were going to lose, I wouldn't show up. But unfortunately, in this game, you had to show up to see what the outcome is going to be.
Did you get any sleep?
A little bit. I got a few hours, but like I told you, I'm still tired. So I get my rest after it's all over.
What'd you dream about?
I didn't have time to dream. Just got to close my eyes and open them up again.
Hey, good luck tonight.
Hey, Pat, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Well, no visiting team has ever won a World Series game in the Metrodome, and Jack Morris has personally won 15 games here this season. We spoke to members of both the Braves and the Twins about their mission tonight and their mood coming into this Game 7.
I would say this is it. Hit Jack Morris against Smoltz, so I figure it's going to be some more high-drama baseball.
The team seems a little less loose than they did last night. Are you guys a little more concentrated, you think? Or?
Oh, we're still loose. We've been loose all year, but, you know, the whole season, 7-game series, it's come down to this one ball game, so I guess the winner is going to take the trophy.
Team focused, and how do you stay focused on this thing? You've had so many...
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. I think we face a lot of adversity coming in, even winning the division championship on through the National League Championship Series with the Pirates. So we're used to it. We're ready for it, and everybody's relaxed. We just know what we got to do out on the field and just maintain our focus on what we got to do to win.
You're an at-bat or two away from being the MVP of this thing.
I haven't really thought about it too much.
Yes, you are.
It's crossed my mind a little bit.
All right. Getting a little nervous or no?
Well, I'm a little nervous, but when the game's tossed, I don't think I'll be that nervous.
Greg Olson, just before the game, saying goodbye to some family and friends. He's from Edina, Minnesota, signed an autograph there, getting ready for his Game 7. Of course, it is up to the players to get it done tonight, but as Tommy told us, managing a Game 7 is a different experience, and we spoke with the men who will be playing chess with each other across the diamond to see how they got their
we had a
teams
nice
mentally
little short
ready.
meeting, and we're going to be focused, Pat. We have never had a problem with that, and we know it's a big ball game and all, and I'm sure the adrenaline's flowing, but it's not going to be to the point where it's going to hinder us.
How big are your butterflies?
Big right now.
Big?
You bet. Nah, it's the most exciting time of our lives, and I guess if you're not a little bit nervous, you'd never enjoy anything.
Just the thought of being in Game 7 of the World Series is something every kid dreams about, and we're just bigger kids right now. That's all that is. Both teams, I'm sure, are going to be ready to play. Talked about being drained and all this and that, and there's no way. Both teams will be fired up to play tonight.
Jack Morris now coming out to the cheers of a crowd, hoping for a World Series victory tonight. Some year he has had. On deck here, Ted Turner, as we continue live from the Metrodome.
I'm Jim Nance with an Olympic profile. Next, the tiny speed skater with high hopes.
Olympic glory used to depend on muscle, talent, and heart. Now you can add digital computer analysis, retinal scanners, and more, and that costs money. That's why every time you use your Visa card, money goes to help the U.S. Olympic team. So pull for the team and pull out your Visa card, because at the Olympics, they don't take excuses, and they don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
No Japanese woman has ever won a medal in the Winter Games. Now Seiko Hashimoto can change that. Amazingly, the 5'1" dynamo competes in all 5 speed skating events. When medals are awarded in Albertville, Seiko will be one to watch.
Visa, sponsor of this Olympic profile and the Winter Olympics on CBS.
Okay, we took the whole idea of car ownership and gave it a new twist. The new Elantra. A sedan so well built and tested, it comes with 2 years service and maintenance free. About all you pay for is gas, which makes owning anything else seem, well, a little bit twisted, huh? The new Elantra from Hyundai. Yes, Hyundai. And do that twist.
In art, taste is subjective, but in life, good taste is well defined. Fancy Feast gourmet cat food, exceptionally moist and delicious. Fancy Feast. Good taste is easy to recognize.
In today's financial climate, you need the strength and stability of the Buffalo. at Hennessy and Bull.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going and...
There'll be major laughs.
On your tiny shoulders rest the hopes, dreams, and passions of everyone who loves this base we call Hollister.
On Major Dad at a special time.
No pressure, dear.
And major fun with Martians, Night Court's Richard Mall, and Cheers' Rhea Perlman in The Last Halloween. An all-new hour of family fun Monday.
Live picture there of John Smoltz, who will be given the ball by Bobby Cox tonight for the Atlanta Braves, and he is 2-0 in the postseason. Smoltz going out, getting ready to warm up for his Game 7. You know, this series has been a long time coming for the fans of Atlanta, and in particular for owner Ted Turner, who sat down with our own Tom Lasorda to put this experience into perspective.
Well, after having been last and near the bottom for so long, it's a refreshing change, to say the least.
Ted, if Bobby Cox could come to you right now and say, Ted, I'd like for you to talk to the ball club tonight in this very, very important game, what would you say to them?
Well, I am going to see them tonight right before the game because I'm not going back on the team plane. I'm going to tell them that I'm real proud of them no matter how the game comes out, and that I look forward to seeing them next spring.
You've had such tremendous success, the birth of CNN, the winning of America's Cup, and now in the Fall Classic, battling for the World Championship of Baseball. Where does this fit in your career?
Well, I don't rank things, but it's certainly right up at the top of all the experiences that I've had.
Ted, there's been a lot of talk about how you are going to address the CHOP.
We're going to have the heads of the organization are going to get together and discuss it. It really was something that the fans started doing. It wasn't something that the organization came up with. Both Jane and I quit chopping when we heard about the Indians being offended by it, but I think it's much ado about nothing myself. I think it's unfortunate, but certainly no insulting intentions were made at all. We thought it was kind of honoring it, but basically it was just cheering for the team. That's all it is.
And there is Ted Turner's counterpart, Twins owner Carl Pohlad, a Minneapolis banker and businessman who bought the franchise from Calvin Griffith back in 1984. The nerves there. We've heard from the players, the managers, even the owner. But you know, if baseball is ultimately a game for kids, and aren't we all kids at heart, then maybe we should turn to the real experts, those who have spent this day talking about Game 7 in backyards and sandlots across this country.
Probably the most dramatic since the 75 World Series last night.
It was exciting. It was exciting. I don't know anything about the 75 Series. I didn't get to see it, but it was the most dramatic home runs that I've ever seen.
Yeah, tonight's game,
I think the Twins are going to go to win.
Morris is going to shut him down.
Yeah, I think the Twins are going to win it because Morris is too good of a pitcher.
The real boys of summer, Tommy. What about tonight's game?
Well, it's going to be a great game, and I think with the crowd, the dome, and Jack Mars, as much as I want to see the National League and Atlanta win, I've got to say that they have the edge tonight.
Thomas order for the Twins tonight, then.
Yeah.
We'll be back to meet the starting lineups for tonight's Game 7 when our CBS Sports coverage of the 1991 World Series continues after a word from your local station.
U.S. champion Todd Eldridge and skating's bad boy Christopher Bowman in their first major competition of the season. It's Skate America on Olympic Winterfest next Saturday.
This is CBS.
Yes, the Ohio Lottery Instant Games. As many ways to win as you've got ways to scratch.
Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to drive Chevy.
Smith, Chevy trucks outsell Ford. Fact, Ford's F-Series has outsold Chevy 14 years running. Smith, Chevy trucks are tough.
fact. Ford has more torque and a cargo box that's bolted down, not spot welded like you-know-who. Plus, this all-new F-150 is over $700 less than Chevy. Right now, get $500 cash back or low 7.9 financing. It's a documented fact. Ford trucks are still #1. Mama, don't have to...
Let's see. To get up to speed on this project, you'll need to review the last 6 weeks' editions of the Journal, plus these reports from the Department of Commerce. Then there's Forbes and Business Week, last 4 broadcasts of Wall Street Week. You'll want to scan those tonight at home. Plus this database from our Computer Information Service. Get through those and report back to me in the morning, okay?
It's up to all of us to prepare our children for the future. Ashland Oil urges business to get involved with schools today because better education is America's bottom line.
Randy Little and Denise Dory on Cincinnati's 5 o'clock news.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, good evening and welcome to Game 7 of the 1991 World Series. At this time, we would like to introduce to you the 1991 National League champion, Atlanta Braves. First, the non-starters, the coaches, the trainers, and the equipment men. Come on! And now the manager, number 6, Bobby Cox. Leading off, the designated hitter, number 27, Lonnie Smith. Batting second and playing third base, number 9, Terry Pendleton. Batting third, playing center field, number 5, Juan Gant. Batting fourth in right field, number 23, David Justice. Batting fifth, the first baseman, number 12, Sid Reed. Batting sixth in left field, number 14, Brian Hunter. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 10, Greg Olson. Batting eighth, playing at second base, number 20, Mark Lemke. Batting ninth at shortstop, number 2, Rafael Belliard. And in the bullpen, the starting pitcher for Atlanta, number 29, John Schmaltz. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your 1991 American League champion, Minnesota Twins. First, the non-starters, coaches, trainers, and equipment men. First, the non-starters, coaches, trainers, and equipment men. And now the manager, number 10, Tom Kelly. Leading off in left field, number 32, Dan Gladden. Batting second, the second baseman, Chuck Knobloch. Batting third in center field, number 34, Kirby Puckett. Batting fourth, the first baseman, number 14, Kent Hrbek. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 44, Chili Davis. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 12, Brian Harper. Batting seventh, playing in right field, number 24, Shane Mack. Batting eighth at third base, number 13, Mike Pagliarulo. Batting ninth, the shortstop, number 7, Greg Gagne. And in the bullpen, warming up for the Twins, number 47, Jack Morris. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as the United States Marine Color Guard presents our nation's colors. And now, to honor America, please join 7-year-old Jacqueline Hawkins from New Hope, Minnesota, as she leads us in our national anthem.
Can you see in the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright light and bright star through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets riding right from above, stinging night, that the roof through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say, and those bright stars spangled the nighted waves. Oh, the rest of the
What were you doing when you were 7 years old? That was terrific. Jack Buck and Tim McCarver are going to be back right around the corner. Stick with us. Game 7 coming up.
Game 7 of the 1991 World Series is brought to you by Toyota and the all-new totally redesigned Camry. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Today's Duracell, the copper top battery. And by Budweiser, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud.
Something happens between the weddings and birthday parties. It's called the rest of your life. That's why we created America's most popular camcorder, the Handycam, from Sony.
Buying 100% Colombian coffee can be tricky if you don't know what to look for. Because some coffee is only part Colombian. And some coffee isn't any part Colombian. So how can you be sure you're getting the richest coffee in the world? Always look for Juan Valdez. He'll only be on brands that are 100% Colombian coffee. The richest coffee in the world.
Allison Denny thinks her trash bags are strong. Can I get her to try Glad drawstring trash bags?
No, absolutely not.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Allie?
Uh-huh.
Well, what if we take a Glad drawstring bag filled with 25 pounds of last week's garbage and drop it onto your house? Not to worry, Big Al. Those Glad trash bags have 3 strong plies of Stress Flex plastic, and those red drawstrings tie up tight. Now will you try Glad drawstring bags, Allie?
Sure, even though that's not my house.
Is this rope important?
Oh, don't do this.
Whoa! Glad. Only the strong survive.
The day may come when travelers don't care how much their luggage weighs. But for now, there's the Samsonite Lightweight. It's 25% lighter than the average soft-side suitcase. Because at least in the immediate future, the weight of the luggage you carry can still be a matter of some gravity. Samsonite. Our strengths are legendary.
As parents, we'd all like to believe that our children will grow up and go through life untouched by drugs. But unfortunately, the odds are stacked against us. 1 in 2 high school seniors tries illicit drugs, and up to 20% use them on a regular basis. 1 in 5 10th graders experiments with marijuana. And weekly cocaine use is now being detected in 6th grade students. But the numbers aren't all bad. Recent studies have shown that students who are able to talk about their problems with their parents are twice as likely to say no to drugs and alcohol. Indeed, communication is the key to beating the odds. We're in a must-win situation, and we're all in it together. They're getting ready in the Metrodome, and get used to this scene because you'll no doubt, depending on how the Twins do, see it all night long. You know, there is no game in baseball more important than Game 7 of the World Series, and no one knows that more than Jack Buck, who has called so many of them, and Tim McCarver, who batted folks 300 as his Cardinal teams won 2 out of 3 Game 7s. I think he even stole a base in one of those games. Gentlemen, have a good game. Let the goosebumps begin, Mr. Buck.
Yeah, thank you, Pat. It's going to be terrific. I just hope that little 7-year-old girl who sang the anthem doesn't do play-by-play.
No, wasn't she terrific? I'm telling you.
She was terrific. Folks, we've been wrong. We kept saying this series can't get any better. And it got better and better and better. And now here we are with this game to mark the end of a glorious baseball season.
And, Jack, so many vivid memories of the first 6 games that we thought it appropriate to show some of the scattered pictures of the smiles we left behind. Game 1, Jack Morris, a gallant warrior returning home. Hats off. Game 2, when push comes to shove, a bad turn for Atlanta. Game 3, Rick Aguilera, the pinch hitter. Later, Game 3, a force emerges in Mark Lemke, driving home the winner. Game 4, the violent collision of Smith and Harper. To end Game 4, an arm's length and elbow's width, the subtle difference between out and safe. Game 5, it was David Justice putting Atlanta on top. And last night, Puckett's charge ignites the Twins. And Homer Hankies were aptly named last night, Jack.
And we just know that something will happen tonight to take its place with those pictures you just saw. We're close to game time. Let's join Jim Cox.
All right, thank you, Jack. Perfect pitching matchup. Can you believe this? Jack Morris and John Smoltz. Jack Morris with John Smoltz, boyhood idol. Minnesota signed him to pitch big games like this. Atlanta traded for Smoltz to do the same. They'll have a big influence on who wins this game. The warm-ups are over with. The palms are a little sweaty. They're going over their little checkpoints. Few hours, we're going to celebrate, see which team wins. These guys have been thinking a lot of thoughts since they warmed up. Backyard games, boyhood dreams of pitching Game 7. And when it's all over and the champagne is kind of dried off, there's one thing they're playing for, and that's this ring. More than anything else, a ball player wants that. Morris and Smoltz going to have a big influence on who wears it after this one's over.
There are the Twins on the field with Jack Morris taking his warm-ups. He certainly has had more experience than John Smoltz. But the two of them are just excellent hurlers, both at a very, very strong position with regard to the season. They've been pitching very well as of late. And we're ready for this one to start unwinding. Ronnie Smith will be first up.
Feel like we've died and gone to 7.
That's what we've done. Boy, this is exciting for everyone involved. Ronnie Smith with a handshake to the catcher, Brian Harper, a former teammate of his. And here he is from Highland Park, suburb of St. Paul, Jack Morris. Hometown boy makes good. First pitch. Ball one. Smith has had 3 hits, and he's had 4 hits, and 3 of them have been home runs. Ball one, strike. Smith Pendleton again in the Atlanta first.
I don't think I've ever seen a hitter shake hands with a catcher before the first pitch in any game.
Like a heavyweight fight. That was an unusual occurrence. Balls and a strike. Jack Morris, the pitcher. Brian Harper, the catcher. We'll meet the umpires here in a moment. Playable into right field. Shane Mack is there. And that's the way this one starts. Here are tonight's umpires. Don Denkinger will work the plate. Harry Wendelstedt, Drew Coble, Terry Tata, Rick Reed, and Ed Montague. This is the crew chief, Don Denkinger. And he will be scrutinized here this evening. Everything that occurs on this playing field is under quite a microscope. Hamilton has been hot with the bat. He's had 10 hits in the series. He homered here last night, his second home run of the series. Ball one to him.
Terry 6 for his last 7. He won the batting title this year, the first Atlanta Brave to win a National League batting title since Ralph Garr did it in 1974.
Out of play. Ralph Garr, by the way, still with the Braves organization. He was one of my favorites when he was with Atlanta. What a nice fellow he is. 1 ball, 1 strike. Easy for Herbeck. 2 out. $55,000 plus here in the Metrodome. Nice chilly evening, clear night out of doors. Gant stands between Jack Morris and a perfect first inning. Gant with no home runs in the series. He has 8 hits. He hits everything hard. Skipper of the Atlanta Braves, Bobby Cox. They go home after the game tonight. Will it be a triumphant trip? Tom Kelly is the skipper of the Twins. He won it all in '87. And had to win Game 7 here against the Cardinals to accomplish that. 2 balls and a strike. Pat O'Brien mentioned in the early going, Morris won 2 games against Toronto. He was the winner in Game 1 of this series. Then no decision in Game 4. So he's pitching in Games 1, 4, and 7.
He can't be any more of a #1 guy. He started the first game of the season for the Twins. He pitched in the All-Star game. He pitched the first game of the American League Championship Series, and he pitched the first game of the World Series. He won all 4 of those games.
And he is 6-1 in postseason play during his career. Down in order go the Braves.
We built the all-new 1992 Toyota Camry with many exotic materials, including the one you see here, the Road. You see, by putting insulating panels made from asphalt in the new Camry, we were able to help keep something else out: noise. The all-new 1992 Toyota Camry. We just couldn't leave well enough alone.
The race is on to make batteries that last longer. And today's Duracell batteries can even outrun the ones we made just a few years ago. Today's Duracell. You can't top the copper top.
I think kids have it tougher now than we did. All the pressure.
Well, it's one thing they got the same as us. Hot Quaker oatmeal. That'll help get a kid through the morning as good as anything I know. Instant Quaker oatmeal. It's the right thing to do.
One more, Jack. Think about tomorrow. Good. So, how do you feel?
Ready to rock and roll.
Only one beer has the taste as genuine as the people who drink it. Budweiser.
How so fast? I could turn out the light in the bedroom and be in bed before the room got dark. Like a full-figured lady like you, honey. That way, if we lose the house, we can live in your bloomers. Well, when you're knocking on the gates of heaven, you better stay on good terms with the doorman.
The Braves went down in order, no score in the first. Each team has won their home games. Minnesota won the first 2 here in the Metrodome. And the series traveled to Georgia, and Atlanta won all 3. Came back here, took a day off, and last night's exciting win went to the Twins. There's John Smoltz, a 14-game winner during the season, but 8-1 after the All-Star game. And he won 2 games against Pittsburgh, including the clincher. No decision in 1 World Series start.
He has won all 3 of his postseason starts. And he won his last 8 starts in the regular season.
First batter, Dan Gladden. To announce those names before the PA announcer does, or you wouldn't hear a thing. It's going to be Gladden, Knobloch, Puckett. They took the roof off this place just about when they introduced Puckett in the pregame. Gladden has had 4 out of 25. That's not so hot. We'll see how John Smoltz gets along. Greg Olson has caught each game of this series. And he was a strong performer down the stretch for the Braves. Pulled an Iron Man act. In the hole, 1 and 2.
2 unhittable sliders for 2 strikes to Dan Gladden. Those are sweeping sliders from Smoltz.
He pitched 7 innings in game 4. Braves won that game. He didn't get the win. Out of play. 1 and 2. We've had a remarkable sports season up here in the Minneapolis area. Now game 7 of the series to add to the luster. And Smoltz is off on the right foot with a strikeout.
There have been 5 previous series in which the home team won each of the first 6 games. But in only one of those 5 series did the home team win Game 7, and that was the last World Series here in Minnesota, won by the Twins against the Cardinals, Game 7 in the Metrodome here.
Batting is Chuck Knobloch. A rookie second baseman. They had a couple of runs batted into this series. 7 base hits. Smoltz pops one in there. Smoltz first put on the Atlanta uniform in '88 for a few games. Popped him up for an apparent second out, and who wants it? Somebody better catch it. There's the second out with Justice making the catch. It looked like Lemke was going to go to it, then Gant gave up. There was a momentary pause there, wasn't there, Tim?
Yeah, I like that qualifying word, apparent. I think that's appropriate for a visiting team in this ballpark. We saw Brian Harper lose one last night. Or Brian Hunter, I beg your pardon.
Well, they applauded long and loud last night for this fella, and they're doing it again. Kirby Puckett. He has a flair for the dramatic. His 11th inning home run was only the 4th extra inning game-ending home run in World Series history. Dusty Rhodes hit one, Eddie Matthews, Carlton Fisk. Strike 2 on Puckett.
Dusty Rhodes against Bob Lemon back in 1954 when the Giants swept the Indians. Eddie Matthews of Milwaukee in the 1957 series off Bob Grimm. And then everybody knows about Carlton Fisk's home run against Cincinnati in Game 6 of '75.
Back to John. No runners in the first.
whipping up fat-free Special K waffles from Eggo. Once you see how good fat-free can be, oh no, you never let go.
No way. It's all mine.
Special K waffles from Eggo.
Eggo Special K waffles. Crisp, delicious, yet every bite fat-free, cholesterol-free, and just 80 calories per waffle. See how good fat-free can be.
Oh no, you never let go.
Nah.
Special K waffles from Eggo.
Celebrate the 21st century a little early. Introducing the all-new 1992 Toyota Camry. We just couldn't leave well enough alone.
Every business morning, while the rest of the world is getting up, UPS is guaranteeing overnight delivery before 10:30 for far less than other companies charge. And every business morning, more people are waking up to that fact.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Lions Bears with 5 with 4, Central Division Collision Course. Who's the best in the Midwest? Watch on Sunday, CBS.
It's the NFL on CBS.
No score, top of the second. Tim, you referred to that unhittable slider by John Smoltz. When you're all pumped up in a game like this, you get a little more fastball behind that slider, a little more velocity, a little less break, and I think that's what the Twins hitters saw a lot of in the bottom of that first inning.
And he threw some nasty pitches indeed. Now it's Morris pitching to David Justice. Hit it hard, but right at Puckett, and it plays in front of him for a first base hit of Game 7. Had to play deep with Justice up there, and David gets his 7th hit of the series.
Well, we've talked about Kirby Puckett. If he has an Achilles heel, it is playing a little bit too deep. And I think he gets in the habit of doing that here at the Metrodome to try to cut down on gap base hits. But that ball normally is caught, but because Puckett was so deep, it falls in front.
For Justice, it kind of makes up for the ball that just missed being a home run last night. And these Braves did hit into some tough luck. Here's Sid Bream. No runs batted in the series, and ball 1 to him.
Tommy Lasorda referred to Jack Morris and how the hitters of the Atlanta Braves should either try to get ahead of Morris or hit early in the count. By doing that, you don't allow him to throw that split-finger fastball. He usually throws it when he's ahead in the count. So if he throws that fastball over for a strike, you want to put that ball in play instead of trying to hit the splitter. He throws that about as hard as he does his fastball.
Ryan Harper gets some help from the dugout. Justice is a threat to run. And that ball is out of play. Justice is not the fastest of runners, but he did steal 8 base during the season. Jimmy Williams, the third base coach.
It was Justice's steal of second base before the Mark Lemke hit in Game 3. That allowed Atlanta to win their first postseason game ever.
Leadoff man is on for Atlanta. 2 balls and a strike. Herbeck holding against the runner. Got to be rather close.
Combination of Jack Morris and Brian Harper, a good combination on which to run. 15 wild pitches led the American League, and Jack Morris had no pickoffs on the season.
Almost had one there. Justice has shortened his lead. There he goes. And the runner will advance as Knobloch couldn't get it out of the glove immediately and had to go to first base for the first out of the inning.
I think Dave Justice pulling an Edwin Moses. He looked like a high hurdler going over that ball, and I think that upset the rhythm of Chuck Knobloch. Watch Justice hurdle this ground ball, and Knobloch, I think, caught it a little in the heel of the glove, couldn't get it out cleanly, and had to go to first base. That's an Edward Moses form, isn't it?
Good form by Justice. And good for Atlanta that they started the runner, or with Green running, that would have been a double play. Hunter is up. Ball one. Bryant, 3 out of 17. There's a rookie playing in the 7th game of the World Series. And another rookie at the plate. And that's just foul. Well, that's the way it went all last night for Atlanta, wasn't it, Tim?
Well, he hit that ball off the end of the bat, but Atlanta did hit an awful lot of balls hard last night, either at Twins players or just foul. You mentioned the David Justice foul ball that was really crushed, about a foot foul. And then Terry Pendleton, his second time up, just missed an extra base hit.
Single by Justice, infield out. Hunter and then Olson will have a crack at putting the Braves on top in the second. And some folks have made the trip up from Georgia to root for their club. They haven't had a winner since the Braves moved there. The last Braves team to win was the '57 group. That's Eddie Matthews, Hank Aaron, Joe Adcock, Frank Torrey, Del Crandall, Fred Changey, Johnny Logan, Andy Pafko, Bill Bruton. That was a terrific team. And the pitchers were Spawn and Burdette and Buell.
Lou Burdette won 3 games in that series, and it was Lou Burdette who lost the decisive game in 1958 to the Yankees. The Yankees trailed 3 games to 1, and then they came back to win the last 3 games against Milwaukee.
That's when the Braves were in Milwaukee. 2-2 to the batter. Heat for the second strikeout.
Morris just blows this high fastball right by Brian Hunter. See Hunter under it.
That's the second out of the inning, and it's up to Greg Olson. He is trying to do some damage against his hometown team. He's from Edina, Minnesota. He's cooled off lately. He's had 6 hits in the series.
You would think after the World Series that Greg Olson would just drive home and stay, right? Wrong. He will take the plane back with the Braves and drive home. He left his car down in Atlanta, so he won't get here until Thursday or so.
If he wins the series, he'll be able to buy a new car.
That's right.
Popped him up. Second baseman under it. Braves lead 1. No score after an inning and a half.
I remember it well. I just come out of some of the most rugged country of Utah when I turned 200,000 miles on my truck.
I was way back in the woods. It's rugged. It's at the base of Chestnut Mountain. A lot of people won't go there, but it's a special place to me.
I pulled over the side of the road, showed a sign saying 200,000 miles. Is that cool or what?
Where were you when your Toyota truck hit 100, 200, or 300,000 miles? Call us and tell us your story.
The only truck I'll ever own will be a Toyota. I'll tell you that much right now.
Radio Shack America Technology Store.
Now
Now get 0% interest on all Tandy computer products until November 1st. No down payment and no payments until February 1992. 0 interest on this easy-to-use home organizer computer system with hard drive and color monitor, only $899.95. 0 interest on our special edition 20 megahertz 386SX system with 85 megabyte hard drive, mouse, modem, and software, just $12.99. Now save better at Radio Shack, America's technology store.
We've added the leading cough suppressant to the proven cold relief of Alka-Seltzer Plus. So now you can relieve your cold and cough together. Introducing Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold and Cough Medicine. 2 kinds of relief from only 1 medicine.
I'm toning up from my head to my toe. I'm toning up, now my skin's gonna glow.
New Tone with cocoa butter is specially formulated to rinse clean.
I'm toning up.
Tone up with new clean rinsing Tone.
Baseball. It's really quite a simple game. Throw the ball, hit the ball, catch the ball. But some of this game's greatest moments haven't taken place in front of thousands of fans. Like the look on a young boy's face when a legend takes time to visit a hospital. Or the entire Red Sox organization whose Jimmy Fund quietly helps sick children. Or a hometown hero who hasn't forgotten his less fortunate neighbors. Yes, baseball really is a simple game. And it's simply at its best when it's caring for others.
A message from Major League Baseball and its players.
Now, when there's a lot of tension, no score here in the bottom of the second inning, there's a lot of tension and numbness in the joints, a lot of pressure on the players.
Close-up look at Tommy Glavine.
It's just twisting the joints, trying to get them loose.
Here's Kent Hrbek to start the home second. He is 0 for his last 13 in the series. He's had 3 hits overall. One of them a home run. Ball 1. It'll be Hrbek, and then Chili Davis, and then Brian Harper. But even that young fella knows the significance of this affair. Into short right, and Justice has it. 4 in a row, retired by the Atlanta hurler.
Strange things happen in World Series back in 1924, Game 7, a 12-inning game. And who was in the game? Walter Johnson. He entered the game in relief in the top of the 9th inning, and the Washington Senators won in the bottom of the 12th, 4-3 over the Giants. Tommy Lasorda talking about using everybody. Well, there's a pretty good example. It's been going on for a lot of years.
Including Glavine, whom you saw a moment ago. He could be used for a hitter or 2, Bobby Cox told us. Here's Davis. Chili has had 3 hits. 2 of them home runs. He's the designated hitter. Out of play, strike 2. And happy to see that John Smoltz, as young as he is not letting this situation bother him.
Only 23 years old, he came to the Atlanta Braves for Doyle Alexander from Detroit. Signed with Detroit in 1985, and after 2 lackluster minor league seasons, he has really blossomed for Atlanta.
1-2 to Davis.
Said 23, he's 24 years old. He started this season 23. Part of the young Atlanta Braves pitching staff.
And that's strike 3. And that's 5 in a row by Smoltz, 2 on strikes.
We talked about the sweeping effect. Jim Cott commented on the sweeping effect of the breaking ball by Smoltz, and that's a good example right there.
Smoltz throws the curveball that goes down to left-handers, the slider that goes away to right-handers.
And the first to Harper is a ball. Brian Harper with a half dozen hits, 6 out of 17.
Harper with that left leg, you'll notice how he has it cocked. That's what hitters do when they try to stay back and wait for the pitch.
Had a good swing, but he's in the hole, 1-2.
By waiting for the pitch, you're not lunging. The two elements of successful hitting is to wait and have quick hands.
Yeah, that's what they say. Wait, 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 and then hit the ball in front of the plate. If you can do those two things, then you're a hitter. First hit for the Twins. He's a good two-strike hitter, Tim.
Yeah, he's a contact batter. Struck out only 22 times this year. We have seen him time and time again do well with 2 strikes, and had a good pitch by Smoltz, but better hitting by Harper.
Brings up Shane Mack. Mack hit .310 during the season. He's pulled off in the series with only 2 out of 19. And the Atlanta pitcher continues to get ahead of the batter. Strike. Ron Gardenhire is the third base coach. Harper not a fast runner. Boy, Smoltz has made some dandy pitches in the early going.
Wayne Terwilliger over at first base. Wayne Terwilliger played for about 18 years in the major leagues, primarily with the Washington Senators, and his top salary was $11,000 a year. And here you may get the upwards of $130,000 a share for the winning team tonight.
2-2. Yeah, that's what they figure that the full share will be worth for the winners. Not 130, maybe even more, 130,000. Shane Mack, 2-2. This fellow hit 18 home runs this season. Driven in 1 run in this series. Up the middle, and Harper will stop. So 2 hits by the hitters, each with a 2-strike count.
One on a slider away to Brian Harper, and now the fastball away. And Shane Mack grounds it hard up the middle. Harper elects to stop at second base because there are 2 outs.
Two on, 2 out. For Mike Pagliarulo. He's had 3 out of 8 against Atlanta.
Last time these 2 guys faced each other, Pagliarulo hit a solo home run in Atlanta. And in that sequence of pitches, John Smoltz had thrown 3 successful curveballs, 2 for strikes. And then Pagliarulo hit the fastball on the inside, so he starts him out tonight with a breaking ball.
And comes inside to make it 1-1, 2 on, 2 out. Brian Harper is at second. He's singled, and Shane Mack at first. That game Tim was referring to, Pagliarulo was 3 for 3 against John Smoltz. No score in the second of Game 7. With a breaking ball, 2-2. 2 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes, second inning. That ball is fair. Green to Smoltz, and we have a scoreless 2 innings as the Twins strand 2.
She was sympathetic. My gynecologist said she'd been through it and the irritation could be intense. You couldn't cure a recurrent vaginal yeast infection fast enough. She said a woman should first see a doctor for an initial diagnosis. After that, with Gyne-Lotrimin, you can cure yourself. It's available full prescription strength without a prescription. She said it would bring me early treatment and early cure. Gyne-Lotrimin, my gynecologist's cure, and mine.
Love her, hold her, and remember our simple formula. At Dean Witter,
we measure success one investor at a time.
Dentists tell you to change your toothbrush every 3 months. So does the new Oral-B indicator. When the blue band fades halfway, it's time for a new brush. The new indicator from Oral-B, the brand more dentists use.
This morning, I don't have to decide who to throw it to
Montana connects for a touchdown.
or what play to call. It's nice when the only choice you got to make is what to wear. Because with the style of Hanes Activewear, that's easy. It all looks great.
So good looking. Where can I take you?
Everywhere.
now try Hanes underwear and Hanes socks. 2 more ways to look your best.
How does your morning show stack up? Probably not as well as you think. That's right. It would take 3 of the other morning shows to equal the amount of information and enjoyment you get from just 2 hours of CBS This Morning. I'm Harry Smith, anchor of CBS This Morning.
CBS This Morning, breakfast for your head.
CBS Sports coverage of Game 7 of the 1991 World Series is brought to you by Lexus Luxury Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time. And by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when.
No score after 2.
Greg Olson working on his swing with his shin guards on in the dugout. They do a lot of strange things in the 7th game of the World Series.
Lemke. That's right.
Talk about tension. You can look around the stands and see the owners of each of these clubs, the executives as well as the players. Nobody can sit still.
2 quick ones on Mark, who has had 9 hits.
We've talked about how there's more tension in the League Championship Series, and I think generally speaking that's true. But somehow this year it's different in the World Series. John Schuerholz, the general manager of the Atlanta Braves, his first year. Got to be thinking, what can I do to improve this year?
Into left field and foul. It stays 1-2. Schuerholz over from Kansas City certainly made some shrewd moves. They turned out well for the Braves. Picked up some free agents such as Terry Pendleton, who led the league in batting. Sid Bream, Rafael Belliard. He finished off the picture for the Braves. 2-2. Lemke, Belliard, and Lonnie Smith in the third. This is 3-0 in World Series starts and 6-1 in postseason play. 3-2. It was strike 2. 0-2.
Mark Lemke with 3 triples in this series, and he had 2 in 1 game. Biggest names, I guess, most recently, Bobby Richardson of the Yankees, Tommy Davis of the Dodgers.
To the second baseman, Knobloch. Braves have 1 hit in the game. That by David Justice, wasted in the second inning. Pendleton has some advice for Lemke. Belliard is up. It's ahead on the count.
Maybe Terry Pendleton was asking Mark Lemke, how do you win a game in this Metrodome? He lost 4 as a member of the Cardinals back in 1987, and he's lost 3 home games up here this year. Road games for him, but of course home games for the Twins.
Through the hole, and the 6th hit for Belliard in this series. 1 on, 1 out. Second hit for Atlanta.
The designated hitter, Lonnie Smith.
Nice hitting by Belliard. Pitch was away, and he hits it away. I think Chuck Knobloch will learn after a while that diving on that carpet is not good policy. You can do that on dirt and get away with it, but if you do that over a period of years, it's tough on the body.
Knobloch at second base as the Twins try to induce the double play ball from Lonnie Smith, who has other ideas. Off the glove, and good reaction by Belliard. He's at second with 1 out.
It's exactly what it was, too, Jack. Reactions. Great instincts by Belliard. We talked about Morris's wild pitches, but I think this is going to be a pass ball. We'll see how it's scored. Yep, it scored a pass ball, and there's Belliard right there, anticipating a ball coming out of the glove, and if you don't anticipate it, you're not going to get a good jump, and he did.
Now it's ball 2 to Lonnie Smith, who started the game with a fly ball to right. He's hit 3 home runs in this series, but 0 for 12 with men in scoring position.
Yeah, all 3 home runs have been solo shots.
He can go the other way with the ball, but we've seen him pull the ball most of the time in the series. That's ball 3. 55,000 plus here at the Metrodome in the Twin Cities. No score, top of the third. Runner at second, 1 out. Game 7. It's all over when the curtain comes down on this one. Three and 1. All around town, Tim, we heard people say it's a shame that somebody's got to lose one tonight. I know it's a cliche, but everybody feels that way, including the Minnesota fans. They admire these Braves and what they've done. Lonnie Smith joins Rafael Belliard on base. Well, how do you win a game here in the Metrodome? Pendleton wants to know. Huh? do something with men on base. Belliard at second, Lonnie Smith at first. Pendleton grounded out to first his first time, and he has driven in 3 runs in the series. Has 2 homers. Has 10 hits. In the last half inning, the Twins left 2 men on.
Big difference, though. They got their 2 men on with 2 outs. There's only 1 out now.
Ball 1 to TP, as they call Terry Pendleton.
Appropriate name for a Braves player.
4 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Here's Scott Erickson, who started last night's game. In Game 4, Pendleton had a home run and a double against Jack Morris. One ball, 1 strike. Jimmy Williams reminding the runners, 1 out. Rick Aguilera on the bench. It'll be a while before they will use him, if at all, tonight. One ball, 2 strikes, and Pendleton's had some good swings. You can cut it with a knife here, folks. Into short left field. Gladden cruises to it. 2 out. They got a tough one there. 2 on, 2 out. Ron Gant comes up. Harper went out to talk to his hurler. And sooner or later, if the Braves are going to have good results, this fellow's going to have to pop one. Gant struck out his first time. He's a first ball, pass ball hitter. And a shortstop. Force out, and Atlanta leads 2. They've left 3. We'll return to the Metrodome after this message and a word from your local station.
Bill's neighbor picked a fight. He didn't know Bill was getting it all on tape. He knows now. Fighting Back. 48 Hours returns Wednesday.
While you're watching the World Series, try not to think about those shocking photos or the town scandal. Try not to think about, well, you get the picture. Knots Landing will return Thursday. In the meantime, please, try to keep your mind on baseball.
This is CBS.
The new 92 Toyotas are here. And for 92 hours, your Toyota dealer's going on a tear. Because they've got 5,000 Toyotas to sell in just 92 hours. So they're practically tearing up the place, dealing on all the new Toyotas. With a huge selection like this, they're even making great lease deals. And with their on-the-spot financing, immediate delivery, and big savings, you can tear out of here in a new Toyota tonight. But hurry, this marathon of savings won't last forever. Tear on over to your Toyota dealer today.
Believe it or not, this is something to eat, not to mention drink and sleep. Xavier Basketball, one hungry team. Xavier season tickets include 15 games for only $100. Call 745-3411. Xavier Basketball, one hungry team.
We are in a competitive age. And what's going to make the difference for us as a nation is going to be how well this current generation is educated. We've got Ruth Ezell, an education reporter who works that beat on a regular basis. We're also doing the School Advisory Board, Channel 9 School Advisory Board. These are people taken from a cross-section of our community. They come up with proposals not only about education, but about benefiting the community at large. And that's really what it's all about. That's a difference that we have that I don't think the other stations in town have.
Dennis Jansen Sports, weeknights at 5:30 and 11, only on Channel 9 News.
Atlanta's left 3, Minnesota 2. Bottom of the third, no score. Jeff Treadway on the Atlanta bench. Greg Gagne leads it off. He's batting in the number 9 spot. Has a home run among his 4 hits.
Big 3-run home run in game number 1. Keith Mitchell and Nick Oseski. Nick has been on the disabled list for 2 years with the Atlanta Braves with vertigo.
Smoltz gets ahead on the outside edge. Smoltz has allowed 2 singles. They came in the second after 2 were out. That's strike 2. Donovan scoops. 1 out. Let's go back 31 years and take a trip to Old Forbes Field in Pittsburgh.
This one, in typical fashion, was going right to the wire. Here's a swing and a high fly ball going deep to left. They do it. Back to the ball goes Berra. It is over the fence, home run. The Pirates win. Ladies and gentlemen, Mazeroski has hit a 1-0 pitch over the left field fence at Forbes Field to win the 1960 World Series for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And a foul ball off the bat of Gladden.
That is the only home run that has ever ended a World Series. Bill Mazeroski, Game 7, the only home run that ever ended a World Series.
Out of play, strike 2 to Gladden. We've had some games here that ended abruptly, haven't we?
Yeah, this has been a rather unique World Series in which the winning run was driven in on the final pitch in 3 different games. That's the first time it's ever been done. Lemke drove in Justice in Game 3. And then a Willard sacrifice fly plated Lemke in Game 4. And then last night, Kirby Puckett with an 11th inning home run.
Leadoff man has been retired in the 3rd. Gladden hacking away, and it stays 1-2. Tom Kelly. Did he? Nope, says the first base umpire, Harry Wendelstedt. 2-2. He'll get more than 1.
Remember the first at bat before Gladden, a lot of sliders away. Smoltz gets ahead of Gladden and tries to come back with a slider, and he hangs it in the middle of the plate, and Gladden does the rest.
He narrowly averted the strikeout on the half swing. Back with a 1-out double. Now Knobloch, and then Puckett will have a chance to put the Twins on top in the third. Knobloch fly to right his first time. He missed with Edwards. Knobloch has driven in 2 runs in this 91 series. Ball 2. Gladden's double was only his 5th hit of the series, but it comes at a time when it puts pressure on the Braves.
I think Tom Kelly was talking to Dan Gladden to keep an eye on Knobloch. Either that or increase your lead at second base. With 1 out, it's a good time to try to steal third. We'll see.
He's able to get a big lead. 2-2. This is the Metrodome in Minneapolis, the home of the Twins, and it's Game 7 of the series. We're in the bottom of the third. Runner at second base, 1 out. Tim McCarver and Jack Buck with you, and this is the last baseball game of the year. The center of the baseball universe, the Metrodome. Into right field. Justice is there. 2 out. The runner tags. Goes to third.
This may seem like a harmless out, but it does push Gladden to third base. And the one thing to keep in mind, we talked about the wild pitches of Jack Morris. John Smoltz had 20 wild pitches during the season. That's the most by any pitcher in the major leagues. So being at third base with 2 outs is much more important with a guy like Smoltz out there than it would normally be.
Is he a popular man here? Puckett ran back to the pitcher his first time. There's that pitch in the dirt that Tim was talking about. Ball 2.
With a guy like Puckett up there, you're not going to give him anything too good to hit. You're going to try to make your breaking balls break a little more. That means there's a chance of it being in the dirt, and there's going to be a little more ride on the fastball. I don't think that they'll give in to Puckett by throwing a fastball here.
I wonder if Puckett can get a hit after Pat O'Brien woke him up so early this morning to do an interview. Runner at third, 2 out. Usually, Tim, you get to an exciting game. Once the game starts, everything settles down and everybody's relaxed. Not tonight.
Not this one, no.
Not tonight. 2-2. Well, that was an excellent pitch by Smoltz.
Smoltz has just blown the last two fastballs right by Kirby Puckett. See what they go with, he and catcher Greg Olson, what they call here with the count 2-2. It's going to be the slider.
We have 6 more innings to go of torture and pleasure.
Toyota presents All-Around Champions. Giant slugger Will Clark is working to fight amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, the disease that took the life of Lou Gehrig and still afflicts thousands every year. As the athlete spokesman for ALS in Northern California, Clark pledges $100 for each home run he hits. Toyota is proud to contribute $1,000 to the ALS Association. Toyota salutes All-Around Champions.
How can it be that an automobile, a mere 9 inches larger on the outside, gives you over 2 feet more room on the inside? Maybe it's the new map. The all-new 1992 Toyota Camry. We just couldn't leave well enough alone.
So I'm doing my sound check. Hello, hello, hello. And I hear this woman's voice.
Crunch that last chord. I'll show you.
She grabbed the guitar.
And then she started rocking. No, I mean rocking. You're pretty good. Not.
Someone that hot deserves something this cold. Suddenly, I remember this was a bug spot.
I like your style.
You know what's smart? This Magnavox digital CD shelf system that's incredibly powerful, compact, but what's really smart is this Magnavox 8mm Easy Cam that weighs less than 2 pounds. But what's really brilliant is this 13-inch TV with a built-in VCR. But what's ingenious is this 31-inch with a smart window that lets you see other channels and swap the picture. You know what's smart? This Magnavox digital CD... Go away.
The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart. You are watching the World Series on CBS.
This game summary is sponsored by Budweiser.
We've played 3 and each team has left 3. And we're scoreless. 4th inning. John Smoltz and Jack Morris holding 4th. And Morris ready to pitch to David Justice. There's a real lollipop and a strike. A little bit of everything from this veteran hurler.
That lollipop was sweet if you're looking for it, but most hitters don't look for it. He only throws it 4 or 5 times a game. 2 in a row. How about that?
He's got 2 more to go.
On to the 46 All-Star game. Rip Sewell to Ted Williams. The result was a lot different as Williams hit his second home run. You could see all 4 fingers choking the ball. That's a palm ball from Morris.
This one misses, although Harper thought they had a strikeout, and so did Jack Morris. Morris is really howling about that last one.
Here's that second pitch right there. Look how Morris chokes that changeup. And hitters, if they do swing at it, they have a tendency to swing at the arm motion. That's how he got ahead of Justice, but that 0-2 pitch was close.
And he gets him out. And that for Jack Morris, his 3rd strikeout. And we'll hear from Jim Kaat.
Well, from field level, watching some of those close pitches and the facial reactions from both Jack Morris and John Smoltz, it's pretty evident. Not pleased with Don Denkinger's strike zone, but that's customary. He's not known in the American League as a pitcher's umpire. Very tight zone.
David Justice wasn't pleased with that fork ball from Morris either.
Here's Bream to the opposite field. Chased by Gladden. He's there. Fair ball, 2 out. That off-speed pitch from Jack Morris, we clocked at 63 miles per hour.
And, of course, the palm ball, big disparity between that pitch and his split-finger fastball. Kitty, is there anybody who throws a forkball any harder than Morris in the American League?
I don't think so, and I think that's one of the big differences. Atlanta is seeing pitchers like Morris and Tapani, who doesn't throw quite as hard with the hard forkball.
Hunter, ball one.
I guess Mike Scott, when he was healthy, was comparable to the way Morris throws his.
Brian Hunter struck out in the second. Jack Morris having no difficulty here in the fourth. Rays have had 2 hits and a walk. Hits by Justice and Belliard, a walk to Lonnie Smith. Well hit into the gap, and Gladden can't catch it. And a 2-out double for Brian Hunter. Hunter gets his 4th hit of the series.
That is the 40th extra base hit of this World Series. The record for extra base hits by 2 teams in a World Series, 42. So both teams just 2 extra base hits away from a World Series record. There have been 16 home runs hit in this series. Series record is 17, so they're 1 home run away. And when you think about it, Jack, you don't think about the last 6 games as that much offense involved.
Well, they've been spread 8 home runs for each team.
2 extra inning games, I guess, added to that, too.
Greg Olson could put Atlanta on top here in the 4th. He needs a 2-out hit. Olson has 6 hits, 5 walks. He's driven in 1 run in the series. He only gets so many chances in the game. He's had a leadoff single in the second. Has 2 on with 1 out in the third. And this is a 2-out opportunity. Different signs with that runner at second. Two and 1. Mark Lemke will bat next. Either here in the 4th or leading off in the 5th. Mr. Morris is not very happy. And I think he believes he should be getting more calls than he's been getting.
Brian Harper trying to calm him down.
Out of play, 3 and 2.
Got her glove.
Yes, he's ready.
Sure.
Madam Leather, she is ready. Still 3 and 2. There's a lot of hitting room up the middle with Olson batting. Hunter running the bases at second. That ball is caught by Mack. A well-hit ball by Olson. And we're still scoreless, and now Atlanta has left 4.
The traction control system of the Lexus LS400 helps reduce tire spin across rain, sleet, snow, even an occasional patch of ice.
What's up? The talking elephants our sales force left with yesterday?
Yeah, there's been a little problem. Do we have any that speak elephant? So who's going to get them to all of our salesmen?
One company offers 1030 delivery to more places than anyone and treats them all with mammoth importance.
Presenting Hugo, the talking elephant.
Federal Express, our most important package, is yours.
My company came to me, and they suggested, strongly, not just suggested, that I seek assistance. I thought it was to fire me. And instead, they gave me an opportunity to save my life.
From director Martin Scorsese.
Come out, wherever you are. I want you the hell off my property! What's your connection with this fella?
I was his lawyer.
Dad, you should have just punched him out. Yeah, you know how to fight dirty. You do that for a living.
Big and lady.
There is nothing in the dark that isn't there in the light, except fear. Cape Fear. Rated R. Exclusive engagement November 13th. Starts November 15th everywhere.
What would you do in the name of love? In the name of lust. Premiering November 7th on CBS Late Night. Silk Stockings. It's too hot to sleep.
Home half of the 4th. 3-0 for each club. Tension fills the park. Hrbek leads it off. Out of play, strike 1 to Kent, who flied to right his first time and is 3 out of 24 and 0 for his last 14. But he's a big threat. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Hrbek says it hit him, and he goes to first base. There comes Bobby Cox out to argue. I don't think Olson is really arguing. Cox is saying it didn't hit him.
Well, there was a delayed reaction on the part of Ken Hrbek and Don Denkinger, the home plate umpire. Olson, I think, initiated the request. The slider inside, did it hit him? It looked like it did. Or it looked like it could have. Watch the delayed reaction on the part of Hrbek. Now, Denkinger is looking down. Now, Denkinger ought to call that right away and not be enticed to call it after Hrbek calls his attention to it. Seems to me that if you call the play right away, that would be the appropriate thing to do. You can't let a hitter talk you into thinking that that he was hit by the pitch.
Judging by the way Olson and Smoltz reacted, you would have to say it did hit him, right?
I thought Olson questioned the call. Yeah, that's exactly right. I thought he questioned the call, and then Cox came out. I think that's what brought Cox out of the dugout.
In any event, the leadoff man is on for the first time in the game for the Twins, and Chili Davis has a 1-1 count.
Number one, a pitcher can't tell whether it hits him or not. The catcher can, and the catcher
what he determines is whether the ball changed directions or not. If the ball changed directions, then it hit him. If it didn't change directions, it didn't hit him.
Boone playing behind Herbeck at first. Nobody out. Two balls and a strike. Herbeck is happy to get on base any old way. For his last 14. Twins have left 3. They have their leadoff man here on base in the 4th. Here comes Hunter from deep left. 1 out.
We talked about the 1924 World Series. Well, in 1926, check this out. With 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, Babe Ruth was caught stealing second base, and that not only ended the game, it ended the series. And that gentleman right there, his name is Pat Olson. He's 90 years young. This is his 283rd consecutive World Series game. 283. I don't know how many years that covers.
A little pop fly behind second might drop. Justice with a good play held onto the ball. That's the second out, and Justice has done that frequently here in postseason. Came up with a little burn, but he got the ball off the bat of Harper.
Yeah, Dave has messed up a couple of balls, but he's also made several fine sliding catches, and this is among them. Nice play, David Justice.
Now there are 2 out with Herbeck still at first. John Smoltz will deal with Shane Mack. Good breaking ball.
The baseball field where Chuck Knobloch, the Twins' second baseman, played down in Texas A&M, by the way, is named after Pat Olson, that 90-year-old gentleman that you just saw.
Didn't they tell us he was a roommate of Lou Gehrig?
Lou Gehrig back in 1924 in the minor leagues. Can you imagine that? 283 straight World Series games. That's a baseball fan right there. What a great face, huh? Look at that. Great. He's got his, I think he's got his handkerchief waving the camera away.
Herbeck hit by pitch. Davis flied out. Harper flied out. Shane Mack the batter. And has left 4. The Twins have left 3. Two and 1 the count. Well, when do you think this game is going to be decided? We have played 4 innings. There is no score.
Can I ask you a personal question? Have you ever burnt your rice in vermicelli? Bye, Mom. Maybe you left it for a second? Fortunately, there's new Lipton Golden Sauté. In one step, your rice and vermicelli come out golden every time because Lipton has already sautéed it for you. No skillet, no risk.
Don't risk your rice. Get new Golden Sauté.
It's not Waterford Crystal or a Hasselblad lens. It's a headlamp. And if you think that's impressive, wait till you see what's attached. Introducing the new Lexus ES 300 Sport Sedan.
That's Mommy's little sweetheart.
Now there's a new Stainmaster carpet that handles foot traffic like never before. New Stainmaster Extra Life. It stays beautiful longer. Only from DuPont.
Fans, this is Mel Allen. This year's World Series promises to continue a tradition of great moments and great memories. Get all the excitement of the Fall Classic on the 1991 World Series, the official home video. To order for $19.95 plus $4 shipping, send check or money order to this address, or use your Visa or MasterCard and call 1-800-537-8900. That's 1-800-537-8900.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
It couldn't be any more even. No score after 4. 3 hits each glove. No errors in the game. Each team has left 4. Each team has won 3 games of this 91 series. Each team has won 3 games at home in this series. And this is the final baseball game of the year. Jack Morris. Mark Lemke. Ball 1, we're underway. Lemke grounded out his first time. And another hit for the little guy. That is number 10 for Lemke. And it marks the second time in the game the Braves have put their leadoff man on base. And we're to the point where you would expect a bunt, Tim.
Well, with Belliard coming up, it is a guarantee that Belliard will be bunting on the first pitch. I don't know if Bobby Cox will change it. Mark Lemke on with his 10th hit. Not bad for a 27th round draft choice.
That's the 4th hit of the night for Atlanta. Never more than 1 per inning. Belliard singled his first time. He's a good bunter ordinarily. Herbeck holding against the runner. Play will be to first, and Herbeck takes the throw.
There are a lot of ways to sacrifice successfully. On the artificial surface, one of the best ways is just to bunt the ball into the ground. Look at the high hop that Harper has to contend with, and that's enough to get Lemke to second base. That ball looked like it was off home plate. Good bunt by Belliard.
Now the Braves want something from their leadoff hitter with Lemke at second and 1 out. Lonnie Smith is flying to right, and he's walked. We're in the top of the 5th. No score. Terry Pendleton on deck. But the man of the moment for the Braves is Lonnie Smith. And he bunts. And the play by Pagliarulo, safe. First and third, 1 out. Rather surprising play by the Atlanta outfielder.
Well, if you do this with a runner at second base who was just bunted over, it's got to work 100 out of 100 times. And had that throw been on the money, Lonnie would have been out. Ken Herbeck tried to make it work. The ball into the home plate side. Pagliarulo, a fine play. Lonnie Smith, a bunt base hit. So it's unusual, but it worked. No pictures, just numbers.
We'll see what comes of it. As Harper talked to his pitcher. Lonnie Smith at first.
This ball bunted awfully hard, but Smith down to first base in a hurry. And the throw just pulling Herbeck off the bag.
So Lonnie Smith says to Terry Pendleton, you do it. Pendleton is 0 for 2.
Of course, it's easier for Pendleton to do it because now there's a runner at third and still only 1 out. But a double play in order.
And strike 1, a foul ball to Pat Corellis. Lemke started all of this consternation with a base hit. He was bunted down to second, advanced on the bunt single by Lonnie Smith.
So if you're the infielders now, if you're the middle infielders, you say if the ball's hit sharply to me, we try for 2. If you're on the corners, first or third, a ball hit sharply to me, I go for 2. If it's not hit hard, I come home with the ball. Those are the thoughts in the infielders' minds right now.
Everything came to a standstill, and Pendleton asked for time. I mean, everything was at a standstill. Jack Morris pitching to the National League's leading hitter of this year, Terry Pendleton. He wants at least a fly ball. One ball, 1 strike. This game too important for that family to stay away. Bring the kids.
1 ticket for 2 people.
Popped him up for the second out. Shortstop wants it. And has it 2 out. So Pendleton leaves them.
The split finger popped up. Watch Greg Gagne with that right hand. Once that hand goes up, a lot of times you can't hear the infielder, but you can certainly see him. And Greg Gagne makes the play.
So Gladden stayed away, and there are 2 on, 2 out. And up is Ron Gant, who is 0 for 7 in games 6 and 7. 0 for 2 tonight. I said it the last time he batted. If the Braves are going to win, sooner or later, Ron's going to have to do something. And this crowd hooting and hollering on each pitch. Braves have left 4. Have 2 on, 2 out. No score in the 5th. Lemke and Smith run the bases. 1-1. Lonnie Smith is somewhat of a threat to run in a spot like this.
Well, with Gant the batter, I think they're going to give Gant a chance to drive the run home. I don't think Smith's going to run unless Gant gets 2 strikes on him, 1 and 2.
In the dirt, blocked the runner halfway, and he is safe. He got back.
Pagliarulo tried to block him off the bag. That's a legal play. You're not supposed to do it without the ball, but if the ball's close to you, most umpires will give it to you. You can see Harper, the ball rolling out in front of home plate. Harper stays at home. Morris picks it up, and the throw back to third. Watch Pagliarulo. He tried to block him off. He thought he had him, but Lemke back just in time. Boy, that was close.
It was really close.
Very close. Pagliarulo thought he had him.
has gone to 2.